Amnesia the Bunker was released in 2023 by Frictional Games, the same studio that brought us Penumbra and the Amnesia series. It's a game that I've had my eye on since its release, so between the game going on sale on Steam and me being down with a broken wrist, I thought this would be the perfect time to give it a good shot. The game puts us in the shoes of a French soldier during the First World War, who wakes up with a bad case of amnesia, hence the name, and no other human beings in sight. Upon exploring the facility, we find that the entire company has been wiped out by an unknown assailant. The higher-ups chose to escape and blow the entrance behind them, leaving the remaining men to fend for themselves. Your task is to make your way through the facility to find the dynamite and the detonator so that you can blow the door open and escape to freedom. The only problem is, you're not alone. You'll explore the soldiers' quarters, arsenal, maintenance, prison, and even a set of tunnels left behind by Roman soldiers. Slowly, you'll uncover the mystery of what's happening by finding files and journals that tell the tale of the men who were stationed there. Turns out, one of the soldiers uncovered a set of ancient books in the tunnels and, in classic horror story fashion, let his curiosity run wild. Players will have to find a way past obstacles like replacing a broken wheel so that they can lift a lockdown, or finding a socket wrench to remove vent covers. You can also smash through wooden doors using grenades, weapons, or just tossing a heavy block at it a couple of times. Just be sure not to make too much noise, unless you want company. The monster that slaughtered the previous soldiers is still in there with you, and it's hungry. Your best bet is to avoid it completely, but there are some times where the thing just won't leave you alone. You can shoot it a few times with your revolver to scare it off, but I don't recommend this. It takes far too much ammo to make it flee, and you're better off saving your bullets for shooting locks and disarming traps. If you do find yourself in a situation where you have to make a stand, you're going to want to stick with fire to get the job done. Molotov cocktails and exploding barrels can get the thing off your back for a short while, and there's always something satisfying about seeing that thing run off to lick its wounds. Your best bet for keeping the creature under control is to keep the generator in the central corridor running at all times. You see, it hates the light, and while it won't keep you completely safe, it will cut back on the times that you encounter the thing. It's also a good way of alerting you when the creature is nearby. The lights will flicker on and off whenever the creature is actively hunting for you, so it's a good way of knowing when the coast is clear. The trick is that you need to find gasoline canisters and bring them back to keep it going. This becomes more challenging as you explore deeper into the facility, bringing you further and further away from the generator, as well as the game's primary save point. There are no auto-saves in this game, so dying could potentially cost you a good bit of progress. It can also be nearly impossible to find your way around safely in the dark. You'll get a flashlight at the start of the game, and this thing is both a blessing and a curse. It has a pull string that activates a built-in dynamo, so it doesn't need batteries to make it work. However, you only get a few seconds of power before you have to wind it again, and the sound that it makes can alert the creature if it's in the same room as you. The lighting effects are top-notch. I love how the light will get brighter with every pull until it reaches its maximum brightness, then slowly fade back to black after a few seconds. It really serves to show off how impressive their lighting engine is. Aside from the deadly monster trying to make a meal out of you, you'll also have to contend with the true nightmare of this game, the rats. Yeah, these little bastards were responsible for a good number of my deaths, just because they're absolutely relentless. They'll bite you for small bits of damage, but they can quickly rip you to pieces if they manage to gang up on you. The lights don't seem to affect them, and they can even follow you into the save room and be waiting for you when you load your game again. And for the love of God, don't try to run past them when they're feasting on a corpse. I feel like 90% of the time, they'll hit you and keep you stun-locked until you die. There's one part in particular in the maintenance wing where you have to get past 3 swarms of rats in a single hallway. I didn't have the necessary equipment to deal with all of them, so I died. And I died. And I died. You can use hunks of meat to distract them, but the only way to make them go away for good is to use fire on them. Either by using a Molotov or pouring gasoline onto the ground and lighting it. This means you need to decide, do I use my gas to keep the generator running, or make another Molotov? Other weapons include flares, gas grenades, and wooden planks you can use to make a torch. Just be careful where and when you use them, or you could be sending a signal to the monster where to find you. There's also a shotgun, however you won't find it until pretty late in the game if it's your first playthrough. By that point, it may as well be the rocket launcher you used to kill the tyrant in Resident Evil.
Chris, use it! Kill it, whatever it is!
There's a crafting system in the game where you can combine different items to create new items like health kits and Molotov cocktails. Don't let that turn you off, because it's not as bad as it is in some games, and there aren't 100 different things to combine together. If you play games like The Last of Us or The Evil Within, where you're crafting health and weapons on the fly, then you've got the general idea. To progress through the game, you'll be looking around for the corpses of fallen soldiers, specifically for their dog tags. Each dog tag has the chance of having a 4-digit code written on the back of it. The codes can then be used to unlock that soldier's locker in the storage room. This is how you'll get your hands on some of the key items in the game, but the lockers can also yield goodies, like pouches to increase your carrying capacity, as well as extra ammo and health items. The interesting thing is that the codes are randomly generated for every playthrough, as well as the locations of the dog tags. This means that every time you play, you're going to get items in a different order, which can completely change the experience if, for example, you don't find the lighter until much later in the game. Now you can't use Molotov cocktails or make torches. It's a great way to keep the game from getting stale on subsequent playthroughs. If there's one thing I always loved about Frictional's games, it's their ability to create atmosphere through sound and lighting. The way that your boots echo through the empty hallways of the bunker create a sense of isolation that's only broken by the squeaks of the rats or the sounds of the creature shuffling through the tunnels around you. And when the creature does arrive, it's accompanied by that horrifying screeching sound from the dark descent that turns my blood to ice every single time I hear it. There was one point in the game when I climbed up a ladder and I found myself in a lookout. Before I had a chance to look around, I heard a pop in the distance. An instant later, I heard a bullet come flying past my head, and I dropped for cover. I had been so engrossed with my current task of avoiding the monster, getting past the rats, and finding the dog tags that I had completely forgotten. Oh yeah, there's a world war going on out there, and somebody wants me dead. It just stands as a testament to how good the game is at pulling you in and making it feel real. It took me about 6 hours on my first playthrough on normal, so it's not an excessively long game. However, it does have different difficulty modes to try out, as well as a host of settings that unlock after you finish the game for the first time. Couple that with the randomness of the dog tags, and you've got a game with immense levels of replay value. Personally, I couldn't put the thing down. There were times when I noticed my face moving closer and closer to the screen as I listened for disturbances in the dark. This is a great entry into the Amnesia series and a must-play for any fans of good horror.